Hello, my name is Henry Gordon Smith, founder of agritecture.com, and I'm here with Project Gaia. Hello, how's it going?
Hello. Hi, everything's fine here.
Nice. It's pretty late there, right? You're in Singapore?
Yeah, it's 8 in the evening.
Well, it's 8 in the morning here in Brooklyn, so technology is connecting us, and we're really excited to have a conversation with you today about your world travels and about vertical farming. I was wondering to begin with, could you briefly introduce yourselves? And we can start with Camille. And what inspired you to take on this challenge of traveling the world and seeing vertical farms?
Yeah, sure. So we're two French master students doing our master in France. We're studying engineering. We started this project almost 1 year before. So the project is called Gaia Project. This project is mainly visit, like we are going to visit, we already visited, but we are visiting different farms around the world to have an overview of this vertical farming world and indoor farming world, to see how this agriculture can evolve in the next year and how it can become a solution for food demand.
Wow, sounds like an incredible challenge and question. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us why you got involved?
Well, I'm also a French engineering student, well, we like as Camille said, we took this gap year, and yeah, it was really interesting also to visit the different farms in the world to see how they develop depending the political and the cultural situation of each country.
Yeah, I imagine, a lot of people think about vertical farming and they think of it as a turnkey solution, right? So it's this box and you put somewhere and it's the same everywhere. A lot of what we talk about in agritecture is that design matters, and design relates to the social context and the environment, the economic context. So tell us more about that. What are some of the main differences you've noticed, or maybe that have surprised you between all of these vertical farms?
So we've seen so far 18 farms, and they were all different. I mean, I think the diversity of all these farms is really a strength, because all these farms have to adapt to the city where they are, to the market, to the customer's need. So all these farms were super special. We visited like so different from, for example, in London, we went to an aquaponic farms and farm underground, like 35 meters under the ground. Then we went to New York when we have seen rooftop greenhouse or a farm in a container, or even in Japan, they were all different.
Yeah, in Japan, there were quite a lot of different farms. We visited 6 farms there. And we saw like paddy rice indoor, melon. We saw also like farms under a big dome. And we went also to China and to Singapore. Yeah, the farm was really so different.
Yeah, all the farm are different, a bit for the produce or the structure or even the locations they have in the city. But there is always the same goal, the same vision. Like they want to grow fresh produce and local produce,
non-GMO.
Non-GMO, no pesticides. So this was the main similarity in between the farms, but then like everything else is different for each farm.
Yeah, the customers, the way they sell, the way they pack, the way, they all have their own business models.
So that's super interesting, right? There's a similarity in the mission, right? You're saying everybody wants to grow fresh produce locally, as you said, pesticide-free and non-GMO. And so there's a shared vision there. Anything else that's similar between the farms that you noticed? Maybe something on the culture of the company or the people, anything on the technology, or is it just totally different? I'm just curious to find similarities.
I would say that the age was surprising because unlike the traditional farming, it's mostly young people that are starting being like a farmer. So yeah, that was like a similarity that I could see.
And then for the technology, of course, most of the farm were hydroponics. We had one farm which is not, but all this farm were vertical farming and mostly hydroponic farming. So yeah, this is one of the similarities, I think.
Great. So when you started, how would you have defined vertical farming when you first were exposed to the concept of vertical farming? What would you call it, or what would it be defined as? And how do you think your definition maybe has changed now after seeing all these farms?
Yeah, I think our opinion about vertical farming evolves a lot.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning of the projects and now. At the beginning, vertical farming was just for us like something new in agriculture, and we wanted to see how it's working, if the produce are the same like as the one growing in soil and everything. But now we realize that there is a huge opportunity really in this farming. It's not going to be the solution because there is not only one solution, but this is definitely one of the solutions for the food demand in the next years. And it has a lot of advantages. I mean, you can like adapt to the country where you are, and it can involve people from the cities that create jobs, and you don't have to come from like a farming family to get involved in this. So all entrepreneurs can create their own farm.
And I would say also that we evolved also in a way that first we started only by studying vertical hydroponic and indoor farming, but then we also included the supplier side, and we interviewed how the technology were made, and all these environmental control that is really important in farms. So yeah, that's also a way how we evolve.
Yeah, because the vertical farming world is developing like super fast now, and you have to take into account this side of the market, which are the supplier companies. They are now building more and more technology for vertical farming and like new processes, and it's really evolving. So,
and also another thing that comes to my mind is just that we also saw the difference with the population. For example, in Japan and Asia, it was really more accepted and normal. I mean, in Japan, it was completely normal to find hydroponics products in supermarkets. In Europe, you still have to explain it, to put some labels to explain what a hydroponic means and educate people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you touched on a couple interesting points there. First of all, with the suppliers, I think a lot of people don't think about that, how technology suppliers actually fuel an industry, right? So vertical farming was kind of this hype and people started trying it. And now that there's actual facilities that they need the lights, they need the supplies for it, they need the automation technologies, especially now. Suddenly all these new companies are either pivoting from their technology to focus on that market or give attention to that market, or they're just beginning to get more orders, so they're allowed to do more R&D. And so that's where that kind of exponential growth can really, really happen, don't you think? As it spreads beyond just operators, it becomes a real industry. So that's been very interesting to observe. I think that's it's great that you noticed that too. And then I think with the consumer interest, I mean, certainly for this to get mainstream, wouldn't you agree that consumers have to understand the product and value it?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of things to do in education because people just don't know what is vertical farming, what is indoor farming, and people are kind of suspicious, I think.
Well, it depends on the country, like really. Yeah.
But yeah, we totally have to educate people about it, and yeah, people just need to know this market exists so it can grow.
Yeah, I think this form of technology has been happening in Japan for, a decade or more. So we can look at that and say, okay, well, what drivers made it happen there? And I think, from my understanding, it was really mostly the demand for clean product, a trust in the product. So when we look at the United States or Europe, we have to think, well, what are the drivers there? What's gonna make it happen there? Maybe in the EU, it's gonna be more like a carbon neutral product, if that's possible, or a saving water product, something more ecological. Well, in the US, I think it's going to be all about local. I think that'll be the main driver, is this trend and this demand for local. What do you think?
And there are also so many different reasons. For example, in China, it's more about pollution, the air pollution, the soil pollution, and like building indoor is more safe. It's safer. For example, in Singapore, it's another reason. It's more about food security and being independent from the other countries around.
Yeah, it's the same for Japan. They want to be independent and
food
don't have to import food from China. And as you said, in the US, it's more about they're tired to like bring their food from the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So if you can have food like close by, it's even better. And in Europe, I think it's more community and like I think Europe is pretty in like fresh food and good food. So this can be a good way to promote vertical farming.
Yeah, like healthy food.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to keep an eye on those trends and see how the industry evolves. So you said you saw rice paddies indoors. That must have been at Pasona O2 in Tokyo, right? Yeah, that must have been so exciting. You know, so we post those pictures on our blog different times, and they're super popular. I think a lot of people are excited about the concept of just having this form of agriculture around you. You know, I don't want to go too much into detail with that project. We're going to see, you know, what you share after your whole trip. But what was that the most exciting project you saw, or which one would you say is the most exciting project you saw?
Well, when you say exciting, I mean, you mean the farm?
Yeah, well, I guess exciting would be something that's surprising or something that makes you feel even more inspired to go forward with your engineering and your, you know, sustainable thinking. You know, that's probably how I would define it. Something that is, you know, maybe unexpected and inspiring. Yeah.
I would say that each time we visit a farm that has a new product growing, like as you said, the paddy rice, but also when we see like melon, radish, eggplants, cucumbers, it's really exciting to see each time that the research, because they are really researching a lot on growing other products. So yeah, this is really exciting. I think it's a surprise each time.
Yeah, and I think we had like super amazing moments with all these people we met during the trip. For example, we had the opportunity to make Professor Tozai in Japan. Is, you know, this guy we quote each time we have a discussion about vertical farming, and we suddenly met him and spent 3 hours speaking about the project and everything. So it was a super exciting moment. And then we also met like this Michelin star chef in London. We went to a super fancy restaurant which sell vertical farming products. And we had 30 minutes interview with him speaking about why chefs choose vertical farming products and everything. So this is really inspiring.
Well, there you have it. I think the whole trip was very exciting. Yeah, the whole thing, every moment of it. That's great.
Like each time we visit a new farm, it's always exciting because it's always different and exciting all the time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's why I've been into this for so long. It just doesn't stop. So I guess let's talk about that excitement a little bit more. So you said one of the things you noticed was there's a lot of young people, and that part of the impact of this is that it can get young people to engage in this kind of green technology, and also near the city, which is exciting for young people. How do you think about that in the context of food security? One of the things that I've been talking about a lot is that food security isn't just yield. There's obviously a lot of elements to it, but one part that people don't talk about is the knowledge to grow food. And in the United States, the average age is 58. I think in Australia, I was there recently, it's 52 of the farmers there. So the average age of farmers is much older in the developed world, and we've lost a generation of young people who are excited about agriculture. So we might be unique and not so common. So how just talk a little bit about how you think vertical farming might play a role in food security in the context of the knowledge of growing food. Do you think there's a connection there, and what might that connection be?
I think one amazing thing about vertical farming is that you don't need to have a big knowledge about agriculture. You can start, from nowhere. We have seen so different backgrounds, like entrepreneurs or students,
engineers,
or people who never study agriculture. So you can start from nowhere, and then of course you will have to involve some agronomists and people like this, but you can start doing vertical farming even if you're not a farmer from the beginning. So this is quite amazing, and I think vertical farming will involve young people. It's just having your company in cities, you don't need to move to the countryside, and you're dealing with super technological thing, and yeah, you just like start something new. And I think this is quite interesting for young people, and it can definitely help people to go back to agriculture, because as you said, we lost knowledge. So I think it can be like a new revolution for farming.
Yeah, that's what I feel too. I think there's a really interesting connection between that technology and the city and this capacity to grow food. And I think, yeah, there might be a revolution coming there with that knowledge. So, you know, one of the things that's really exciting and inspiring about your story is that you kind of teamed up and you said, we're going to travel the world and see the best vertical farming projects out there. And I remember when I first started talking to you, you were very ambitious, you had a very clear vision of what you wanted. Maybe you could draw out just a few key tips for how you got your project together and how you raised the money to go out and do this, with the purpose of really inspiring more young people to travel the world and explore green technologies. But what did you do, and what can we learn from that?
So the funding was a huge part of the project.
It took us like 6 months, even more, to like really to have our own business model and to convince our partner.
Yeah, we are financially supported by 4 organizations. So the AVF, the Association for Vegetable Farming, La Chair et Conception, which is a French foundation from Vinci Group and Paris Tech Institute, and also companies
like Accu Energy, which is a renewable energy company, and also La Fondation INP, which is the Foundation of Grenoble Institute of Technology. And it's not only about financial support. It's really helpful. Like, I mean, they also bring us like an intellectual support. They are always helping us and always available for us. And we thank them a lot for trusting us and being with us. So yeah, it's really important to have us behind us.
Yeah, and we also did a crowdfunding campaign, which is a really small part of the budget, but it was really important for us because it was an opportunity for people to integrate the project and be involved a little bit in it. So I think it was quite interesting for us to have this visibility thanks to the crowdfunding campaign. So yeah, that's how we found the project. And then for the tips we can give, it's like to have like
be motivated.
Yeah,
really.
Be motivated, and don't be afraid to build your own project
and to dare to contact the farms and to speak and to go and to knock at the door and ask for questions.
Yeah, because we were quite well welcomed by the farm. They totally realized that they need to share the information to create a market, because vertical farming is so new, so there is not really a market for now. So they just want people to know more about it and to involve more and more people in it. So the project was really well welcomed by the farm.
Yeah, and that's also what we're doing in this project. I mean, all the information that we collect, we send them to them, so then they have all the information and they can grow, because we really think that sharing is important to create and develop the market.
Well, that was really helpful. I think that'll be inspiring to a lot of our audience, making a strong plan, being optimistic, being fearless, all of those elements together, and also bringing in strategic partners. I thought that was a really good point you made. You don't just want money, you want people who can make connections for you, people who can advise you and mentor you along the way. And I liked the crowdfunding part too, because you want to get a bigger audience and you want everybody to have a part in this. So incredibly inspiring. I really want to thank you again for your time and congratulate you on your successful trip. You've really, gone far beyond even what I expected, and I had a lot of faith. So I'm very impressed. So good job on that. And we're going to be watching closely as you begin to kind of share what you've learned from the trip and as you make your way back home. What's next for both of you after the trip?
Next, so for now we have to visit a few more farms in Singapore and Taiwan. Then this summer we will go back to France to start writing a white paper for the AVF and our other partners. It's going to be published this fall.
yeah, and then we wanna keep promoting that. We already have an interview that appeared in a French newspaper, but
Wow.
we want to do more. Yeah. And we want to do more. We want to share and to educate the public. So we would like to organize like conferences in France and in the world, and yeah, really to share and yeah.
Yeah, it's a never-ending research because there will still have like more forums to visit or more people to educate, more technology to design and create. So I think we can just advise people to start their own project and like go in the research, and yeah, it's just never ending. There are still things to do. So
Well, that sounds exciting about the conferences and continue to share ideas. I really believe in that. I think we need to get this knowledge out there to get the industry from what I would call a hype stage and a fringe industry to really being more sustainable and mainstream. So do you, so we'd be happy to collaborate at some point on that. Do you, do you think you'll start a vertical farm, you know, 2 engineers, you know, all this?
Maybe not yet, because we first would like to advise people and to help them building their own farm. But who knows what's going to happen next?
For the moment, we have a lot to do with the Gaia project.
Yeah.
So
yeah, step by step. I just like to look forward. Well, again, congratulations to both of you. I want to thank you for your time and for inspiring really many people. I've been watching your Facebook page. If you want to follow Project Gaia, it's facebook.com/le Projet Gaia.
yeah.
Mon français, c'est très mauvais. Je suis désolé.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, Le Project Gaia, okay? You guys can find it, all you English speakers. But follow them there. They've got some amazing videos of different farms that they're at, talking about what they've seen. They've got thousands of views already. So watch them and collaborate and keep in touch with Project Gaia. Thank you both to all of, thank you to both of you, and enjoy your evening, and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
It was very nice. Yeah.